I'm sure you're all very well versed in the kinds of challenges, significant global challenges that we're facing in the coming decades. The global stuff we just saw here, the climate change, rising sea levels, poverty, health issues, and so forth, pandemics. And the challenge that we have in front of us, I think, has considerable challenge as a catalyst for dramatic economic and political instability, all of which have global implications. Perhaps in the past we could have simply closed our borders and waited for it to pass, but the new reality is that we actually have to engage with the rest of the world. We actually have to develop strong partnerships with the rest of the world and tackle these problems together. The foundation of true partnerships, in my view, is one that's based on trust and the recognition of common interests and common motivations. And to that end, we're trying very hard with our films and our new media projects to connect people across cultures and to find those elements that bind us together rather than separate us. With this in mind, we're working on a number of different projects. One is the one we're working on right now, is in Tajikistan, a documentary film we're making on a sport called Buzkashi, following some really fascinating characters who played the sport. If those of you who are not familiar with the sport, it's that one, the precursor to polo, in which is played on horseback with a dead goat. But we're trying to get past the first impression people may have is of one of, this is such a faraway place and faraway, very foreign to our own sensibilities, but we'd like through the film to show how these crazy guys and playing this crazy sport are actually not that different from our own weekend warriors, and that in fact that there's more in common than we may realize. We're also, in fact, I appreciate the previous presentation because one of the other projects we're working on is how we can use video and storytelling to bring youth around the world in a way that's collaborative and in fact participatory. So those are some of the things we're working on. But what I'm going to do now is describe to you and show you a little bit of a clip from our last film that we shot in Afghanistan. In the news, we typically see that the discourse on Afghanistan is limited to war, extremism, poverty, and narcotics. But we've taken a bit of a different slant on that, talking about actually kind of a strange thing called human stories. And this is a story about young children during the Soviet occupation who were sent to Soviet Tajikistan to be educated across the border, but who became stranded there when the Soviet Union collapsed and civil wars erupted on both sides of the border. These kids never made it back home, but some of them came to Canada as refugees in the last few years. And so now, 16 years later, we went back with two of them, traveled through Afghanistan to try to find their families. And we traveled through by road, local transport, and then eventually through walking 3 days through the mountains to get to the villages. And in the process, met a lot of really interesting people and got involved. There's lots of incidents, things that happened along the way. And one of the things that we will see in this clip here, which is related to one of the really touchy issues around in Afghanistan, is about religion. But perhaps this will give you an idea, and then we can come back to it.
You okay? Yeah? مست از او است.
کم گذره؟
شان نو. تقریبا 20 سال است که نیستم در وطن. نو آمدیم. بعد از 20 سال نو میبینم وطن است. موضوع خودشما اختلاف میکنیم یک ذره. زبانم تازه کنم پاک کنم. فارسی از یادم نرواد. 20 سال که بری دیگه.
افغانی که نیست نه؟
نیست ولی درس تمام چیز با انگلیسی و دیگه میخونی. مثلا ما در تاجیکستان در شوروی در روسنا بودم روسی گپ میزنیم. مشکل است دیگه. اینا زبان مادری را از خود کنند. در یک کشوری که از الفبای شروع کنی مکمل و دیگه کلش به مو زبان به مو لسان در کوچک
شما کجا رفتین؟ حساب مسلمانیتون چه رقم است؟ مسلمانیتون
روزه ما نگه
وقتی که در دولت خارج بودم با دو نفر در دولت خارج خوی بوی مطمع گرفت است.
بسیار اکثریت است. اکثریت ما آدم است. از دین میگرده از مذهب از زبانش میگرده است. چرا
شما خب حساب از دو رقم نیست نه؟
نه توبه الحمدلله بود توبه بگو خدا
تمام موبایل‌ها نیوالی بهترین موبایل خارجی هم از میدن یکی خو برقه زیاد نگاه میکنم
چهارشه بسیار فول نگاه میکنم
چاچا زیاد نگاه
شش روزه یک هفته میره یک
شش روز افرود هیچ موبایلی چه اینطور چاچا نگاه کنه
خوب موبایل بده
ازی کلشون نیست خوبه این برقه یقه نگاه نمیکنه هم 2-3 سال پیش گرفت تو سرکم $10 افغانی خریده بود
خوب موبایل
Anyways, the main idea was that I think there are a lot of commonalities that we can find in each other if we look past the beards and the turbans and the things that divide us. And there's more that can bring us together than there is to separate us. Thank you.